This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNNLive at the Cambridge House Vancouver Resource Investment Conference 2014. I have with me Chris Lawicki, Planetary Resources. He's a keynote speaker. It's a private company. Chris, welcome to SNNLive.
Thanks, Shelley, for having me on. I'm very excited to be here today.
It's good to have you. Does the word planetary give it away?
Maybe. We are an asteroid mining company, and we're looking to extend the mining business into space.
Okay, so you're not from outer space yourself, because people will think, what is he talking about?
I'm not from outer space, but members of our team have a lot of experience putting things into space. 10 years ago, about this time, I was flight director on the Spirit and Opportunity Mars missions at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, landing rovers on Mars. And we have a lot of other members of our team who know how to robotically operate in space.
Now, you're holding a couple of things right here.
I am.
What are they?
These are meteorites, and as people may know, meteorites fall through the sky, land on the ground here on Earth, but they are actually samples of near-Earth asteroids, and they give us direct measurements, kind of like a core sample, of what's available out in space. And this is how we can know what to go after in space.
What are they made out of?
These particular ones are iron-nickel meteorites. They're actually 90% iron, 6% nickel, a little bit of cobalt, a little bit of platinum group metals, and this is just an example of some things that are found out there. You probably wouldn't mine this material to bring it back to Earth, but we're interested in things like water and oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, and hydrogen, things that are very useful for life if life ever wants to expand out into space.
So when you hold up these kinds of meteorites, what is it that you're proving to the world? Because quite frankly, they might have a usage in the world that we know of. This reminds me, I have to say this, of the rare earth elements when people said, what's that? What can you do with it? Remember, they all said that, and all of a sudden, you need it in batteries, and all of the cars are electric now, right?
Yeah.
Tell me more about these things.
Well, certainly, as you know, resources are what fuel our livelihoods. They are what enable our standard of living. They allow us to settle and operate in frontiers. In the American West and North America, it was the use of timber and coal and steel that got us here. And it's going to be much that same way if we're going to expand into space. So Planetary Resources is using information that we get from things that come from space, like meteorites, and we have 50,000 of these samples, some of them billions of years old, but this is how we know that there are useful materials out in space that we can go in.
So you're analyzing this. What have you found out so far?
Well, I think the most interesting thing that your audience may not know is that water, plain old H2O out in space, is a liter of water in space is worth as much as a kilogram of platinum on Earth, because it's extremely expensive to put it there. So one of the earliest things that we want to do is go out and find carbonaceous asteroids and extract the water from them, because water is really useful to us human beings.
So how does that work? I mean, I'm not, I don't need a complete scientific breakdown, because I wouldn't know it if you told me. But what I'm trying to find out is, how is this capital invested in order to do this, and what's the return on investment? I'm sorry, I'm a banker.
Absolutely. Well, 50 years of space exploration has taught us how to put robots out into space. Hundreds of years of astronomy have found hundreds of thousands of asteroids, and what we need to do is connect what we have in our hands with what we see out in space. And we're using our engineering team in Seattle, Washington, to design the Arcid series of prospecting spacecraft to go out there and prospect for those future ore bodies.
That is, ladies and gentlemen, that's cool. So how do I get a seat on the next interplanetary, to do an interview on Mars? Basically, that's what I'm asking.
Well, if you want to learn more about the company, we have website, www.planetaryresources.com, and we update the blog there. We've got a big following on social media, lots of interesting stuff. I'm sure your readers will love to find more about it.
What did you speak about today?
Today we're going to talk about essentially the stage gate process for how this is financed, just like other mining projects are financed.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Lawicki, Planetary Resources. This is a futuristic company. You got to go check out that website. One more time on the website.
www.planetaryresources.com.
It's a private company. He's a keynote speaker. We're at the Cambridge House Vancouver Resource Investment Conference 2014. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNN Live. Chris, thanks for coming on to SNN Live. What a story.
Thanks, Shelley.